Hey, I'm Kale. I'm a goofy footer. It just sounds weird. It's wrong.
Hundreds of videos later, I'm still talking surf technique. And it's often the same principles, but with a different emphasis here or there, or with a new example. Surfing has to be the easiest sport on paper, but possibly the hardest sport in practice. Regardless of your previous background, it's just a sport that seems to, shall we say, humble some of the best. I'm just checking the surf for today, and it says 2 to 3 foot, little nor'east swell and light winds. So pretty much perfect conditions to learn in on paper. My name is Kale Brock. I've been surfing for 18 years and am honestly a natural footer. I've been teaching for a long time now, and I want to know if intellectually understanding the techniques that I talk about can be helpful in learning the sport. Working with a total beginner won't work because transferring those principles without actual kinesthetic experience will take weeks or months to achieve. I'm going to try and hijack that system by relearning surfing in one day, but switchfoot. Now, for those of you who don't know what that means,
So this is my regular stance. Like, this is left foot forward. That's how I would normally surf. And that's actually most common, you could say. I'm gonna relearn surfing today with this foot forward. Now, it might not seem like a big deal here, but actually it is. Essentially, it means like flipping all my muscle memory, everything that I've learned technique-wise, on its head to do the complete opposite. I feel like I'm gonna totally blow this. I don't know.
regardless of my success, I want to prove that understanding the principles of good surf technique can indeed increase the speed and efficiency at which you progress in the sport. Here's a sneak peek of what's to come.
There's some great kook slam moments here. My center of gravity is just off. I was super happy with that last one. It's like a solid drop, huh? If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel because this is going to be a huge year. We've got way more stuff coming. It's going to be an epic one. Please, sir, may I surf with you? If you'd like to come surfing with me, I'm going to be hosting a bunch of retreats this year. I'm going to announce them here on the channel and also over on my Instagram at Kale's Broccoli. I'll see you there. By the way, check it out, guys. New signature sunnies. I teamed up with Baxter Blue to create these awesome blue light blocking polarized sunnies. They're epic, they look cool, and they protect your eyes. Check them out, link below. I'm nervous. So this is my beginner board today. It's a thick, foamy that I've had for like 6 years. And the reason we use these thicker, nicer, more gentle boards to learn on is because they're really forgiving and they float you really easily. And I think that today, because I'm flipping everything on its head, that I know it's going to be a lot easier to use this. I'm going to need all the help I can get. Whereas my normal board, I think, is probably going to hold me back. So it's the foamy today. So essentially what I'm doing is trying to like hijack my brain. Normally I'd take off and bring my left foot forward, but I'm trying to take off and bring that leg forward, and it just feels really weird. It's not working very well. It's almost like typing on an upside down keyboard. Like, you totally have to just rethink everything and rewire everything, and everything is like at the forefront of your mind. You're like, do this, don't do this. It's hard, but it's really interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna go give it a try.
A couple of huge advantages that I'm bringing with me to this new surfing experience is my paddling and positioning awareness. I'm often fond of saying that you can only progress in surfing to the degree that you can paddle. If you can't paddle well, you won't catch enough waves or you'll tire out super quick. Not catching enough waves or tiring out too quickly are two massive hurdles to your progression. Positioning is also significant. Being able to read the lineup intelligently and to be able to move accordingly to be in the best position for waves is probably 50% of the skill of surfing itself. So with 18 years experience up my sleeve in this respect, it definitely doesn't give me any excuses not to give this a red hot crack. Okay, first wave. Let's do this. An effective takeoff actually maximizes the amount of speed you can carry into the wave. I'm going to need to allow myself an extra stroke or two to really fall into it a little more rather than wrestling it like I'm currently doing. All the windows are shattering. The board should naturally fall down the wave as I catch it, so capitalizing on this and almost kind of floating my legs into that negative space as it materializes is the idealistic pop-up. This is definitely something I could work on with my regular surfing stance too. I often pop up too quickly and have to readjust before committing to the wave. This might be fine in small, inconsequential stuff, but if the waves get big, you can get really hurt with a poor pop-up. I'm really glad I'm picking up some insights already that'll help me surf regularly too. Everyone's grabbing, all the women are howling, running. Just on that, I actually found that Surfing Goofy highlighted that moment that I see in a lot of surfers where they struggle with the takeoff. It's that transition from being low lunge into being still squatted but upright. I think so many people fall off during this session, as I was as well. And I think a great way to practice this is through utilizing yoga movements. Moving from a low lunge with the relevant leg forward, so for me as a temporary goofy, my right leg, and then moving into something like a warrior 2 is a great way to develop more coordination and muscle memory in this phase. For added complexity, you could also do this on an unstable surface like a cushion or even a Bosu ball. All right, let's get back to the clip and hopefully I improve.
The less you do, the more you do.
Understanding turning in surfing really boils down to this one fundamental idea: where you look is where you go. Now, I'm not saying that just by looking at a certain part of the wave means you'll magically appear there, but actually identifying and then actively seeking visually the place on the wave where you want to be is the single biggest factor in initiating a turn. By looking to a section, our body naturally adjusts itself to steer the surfboard toward it. On my forehand here, it means my weight is more heavily distributed into my toes to engage my inside rail and start moving back up the face of the wave. We can also see that I'm using my leading hand consciously by pointing to the section as well. This creates a twisted and torqued body which pulls the board across the wave in the desired direction, and voila, the turn occurs. Now, this is all great theoretically, but I'm having a little trouble putting it into practice with my goofy stance. The biggest challenge I'm having right now is activating my back leg. Remember, this is normally my front leg, to really gouge out a turn. The back leg becomes more important during turns because it sits just above the fins at the back of the board. It steers everything like a motor and a rudder on a boat. I seem to be getting into that coiled spring position nicely, but actually activating that back leg and transitioning back up the wave into a turn is a little difficult. If we look at me performing a normal turn on my forehand here, we see that there is this nice transition of weight that occurs from going up the wave and then pivoting, twisting back down it. Mentally figuring this out in reverse with my new stance is proving difficult. Totally hijacking my normal process here has been mentally exhausting, but I've really found that having the understanding of surfing that I do has totally helped me out with my progression today. I mean, if we look at it, I started here and ended up here in like an hour and a half. I feel like any progression that moves this fast is pretty good.
Seemed to just get harder and harder as the session went on. It was getting shallow, it was getting steep and fast, but I had a great time. It really makes me believe with 100% certainty that alongside spending as much time in the water as possible with your surfing, learning about surfing technique intellectually as well as kinesthetically is absolutely going to be a fast track to progressing in the sport. I really, really believe that. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I feel like a huge kook after today, but it's great to be humbled. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, let me know what else you want to see down below. This year I'm going to be hosting a bunch of surf retreats, so I'd love for you to join me. I'm going to be announcing them here on YouTube and on Instagram as well, at Kale's Broccoli. For now, I think I'm going to go get my proper board and get back out there and start surfing regular foot again. I feel so strange. Good sesh though. See ya. Pop up. No, 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 no. Do less. Do less. No, you're not doing anything. You got to do more than that.